Stalker 2, a game a fan base has waited 15 years for. But has it released in a good state? The answer is no, but also yes. It's a beautiful mess. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let's return to the zone. Artifacts, guns, mutants and stalkers with anomalies. Lots and lots of anomalies. Right now, the game has two vibes. This or this. And don't get me wrong here, the game is rough, but when it's good, it's amazing. And I can't imagine how this game will be in a month, or even 6 months from now. But for now, let's go through what I've experienced so far. And if you're sitting here like, what the hell is a Stalker game? I've kindly made a video recently summarising my experience of the original trilogy, and the world of Stalker. So maybe watch that. Pretty please? Anyways, back to Stalker 2. This game is stunning. Even with my 2070 Super on medium to low graphics, this game is a beauty. Really bringing the world of the zone to life, and giving the player the atmosphere they need to get fully absorbed into the world, which is perfectly complemented by the design of the world, and I think GSC has truly created something special here. How you traverse the world feels so natural and keeps you wanting to explore for as long as you can. Well, until you got too much loot, that is. There's always new and interesting locations and interactions around the corner, with hidden stashes sprinkled all over the world. Some might have you completing a jump puzzle or using your smarts to unlock a door, with other places populated with other stalkers, usually bandits, or the terrifying mutants. But for me, this kept me really engaged in the world and really hitting that spot on exploration, which is a huge part of being a stalker. And don't even get me started on how they flawlessly merge the world and locations from previous games, fitting in so well sometimes you just innocently wander into a location from the old games and get hit by a wonderful wave of nostalgia, which is made even better when you also find some of the characters from the old games in similar locations, who also give you side quests for you to get further involved in the world. And the map just keeps on giving, with massive areas to explore, so this may take a while. Then there's the settlements in the game, some of the golden oldies like Rostock and the Rookie Village, also some new additions like Zalicia and the Slag Heap, both really cool locations to grab new quests and stock up on gear. And speaking of gear, the gun models and animations look flawless. My only gripe being, the gunplay feels a little bit janky, and I've seen a lot of people mentioning it's all about mouse acceleration, but I also think the iron sights are super tiny, which I would love a setting just to be able to bring the gun closer to the character, so pretty please modders. But when you're not within the safety of the settlements, it's time to head out and do what stalkers do. Find yourself some artifacts to improve your character's stats, or sell for a tidy sum. Just have to avoid those nasty anomalies scattered around the zone, with a lot of familiar anomalies from the previous games, but a lot of really great and stunning new ones, even if some of them give you one hell of a fright, which I think they nailed, except the gravity balls. I hate them. And the same with artifacts, done perfectly. Seems they continued what they did right in the past, and just added some really amazing looking visuals this time. And I've always loved the thrill of finding a path through the anomaly field to get that valuable artifact. But this is where a few things begin to shatter the experience. First off, the game is super demanding. Even when you're within the minimal specs, don't expect to get a smooth experience. I found the game running like a dream 1 minute, then dropping to 5 frames the next. And only with some useful mods could I fix some of the problems. Also, side note here, there's a few patches out by now fixing some of the issues, so that's good too. But in all honesty, a game at full price of $60 should never be running like this. And there's also the balancing issues in the game, and maybe a few design choices I wasn't completely sold on. Firstly, the bloodsuckers, a staple enemy of the franchise, and a leading cause to players' heart attacks for years. But they came out of the gates a little too tanky, sometimes taking multiple mags to put down, and even loads of shotgun shots. Well, until you get better weapons, that is. But still, I found myself encountering most of the bloodsuckers within the starting zone, and sometimes even multiple at once. That included with their weird knockdown attack, which sometimes just gets you straight up killed. They came across a little more annoying than thrilling to fight. And with the older games, these enemies were pretty scarce, and weren't too hard to kill when you knew exactly how to fight them. But when you do encounter one, Jesus, they put you into a panic. Whereas the new ones, you still feel the panic, but it soon dwindles and becomes, really? They're not dead yet? Again, side note, I believe they fixed some of this since release, so now they feel a lot better. But then there's the Chimera. I first encountered one of these on a story mission, died 5 times trying to fight it, and the only way I could beat it was cheese. And I know what people are going to start screaming, but come on now, I never remember the Chimera in the old games being as tanky as this. And I know they hit hard and would mess you up, but if you get a chance to lay a mag or 2 into them, then you'd win. But with Stalker 2, they just feel unnecessarily tanky. Also, like they just wanted to make it harder, so they just thought, health equals more difficulty, which to be honest it does, but by doing this you lose the feeling the old games gave you. Like having the mutant attack was terrifying, it was a fast and agile, therefore hard to hit, which made it more difficult. But now when you do hit it with a whole mag with your gun, you have no reward. With the same feeling as the bloodsuckers, like really? That did nothing? Then there's the AI stalkers, and their unholy grenade spam. Apparently every character in this game has a pouch full of nades, and at any chance they get, a nade is coming straight for you and landing at your feet. Then there's the day and night cycle. I constantly found myself confused why it's always nighttime. Like, am I just managing my time poorly, or is it going crazily fast? I go on one mission, come out of it, and it's dark again. I know there's already mods out there fixing the length of the days already, so don't worry about this one that much. And the economy of the game just needs a little work due to some of the tanky enemies. You end up using all your ammo to kill a couple mutants, then getting back to base and finishing a quest for 500 coupons, when the ammo you shot was worth $2,000. Crazy. And then the repairs on top are really high, and I already know they have patched the repairs, but I still think they need a little bit of work. Then there's the big one, a feature called A-Life, or A-Life 2.0. For anyone who doesn't know, A-Life is a system in Stalker where the AI, well, have a life. They wander the world with a purpose, some stalkers walking from settlement to settlement, whilst others are out in the world looking for artifacts. All while mutants are out hunting for prey or protecting their territories. All in all, making the world feel very alive. But Stalker 2, to my knowledge, doesn't have A-Life. And I know, the devs have already addressed this, saying something's wrong with it and they're working on it. But the game for me has been out for a week or more and there's no sign of A-Life just yet. And I think that really negative strikes the game. As someone who really wants this game to get all the success it deserves, they really need to get this all working. Otherwise the hype for the game is bound to die down, and they might miss a chance to really build up a bigger audience. Instead of A-Life, we've ended up with kind of a Far Cry system, where the encounters just spawn out of nowhere, usually a squad of guys spawn and see you, or two groups spawn and fight each other, and other similar things like that, which makes the game feel a lot less fluid, and sometimes just plain confusing and annoying. I've had a few times where I kill a group, loot them, start walking away, the same group just spawns in again at the same spot. What's really immersion breaking, especially when the world design is extremely immersive. But this wouldn't be an honest review of sorts if I didn't point out some of the parts of the game I think just ruin the experience almost entirely. The story. First off, I won't be spoiling any of the story points, so don't worry there, but this is where the game, for me, just completely breaks. First off, it's not the storyline that's the issue, it's the missions itself. The storyline so far I found great, and as a fan of the old games and someone who's really got into the lore of the world, I love the approach they've taken with the game so far. But you can't even finish the game. And after about the midway point in the story, I've had multiple attempts at trying to get past the main missions, but they are completely broken. Some having locked doors so you can't even reach the quest giver, and even a main character just being dead at a quest point when you go to meet them. Then there's side missions that affect the world in huge ways, being completely bugged out, and after patches apparently fixing them, they're still broken, making it really frustrating and only playable if you use console commands to botch your way through it. And all in all, I find myself just not really wanting to play the game, as Stalker is a game of choices, and if I have to scrape my way through doing everything I can just to progress, it's not the game I wanted. So I can't truly give you a review of the story, as I can't even play through it. The more I tried to get the story to work, the more frustrated I got, so from suggestions from a couple friends, I thought it was best just to wait till the game got fixed. And I can't help but just think that the game should have been left to cook a little longer, but I do understand that GSC were partnered with Xbox for this release, so there must have been a little pressure there. And I just wish they could have done a release like Path of Exile 2 are doing, where maybe they just released the world so you can explore, and half the story up to the point where it was nicely done, so you can at least experience half the game, then release the rest in patches down the road. So then maybe the player base wouldn't get a rough launch, which might negatively affect the game going forward. And I understand the game is still at a very positive rating on Steam, so players are enjoying it, but not all the players have all the time in the world to play through such a big game like this. So if you don't fix some of the bigger issues within the coming weeks, they might be having some backlash. To finish off, I hate coming at the game in a negative way, as I've recently fallen in love with the Stalker universe, thanks to dumping over hundreds of hours into the rest of the series, for this video right here. But with the state of the game, I felt it would be unfair to ignore the glaring issues and act as if it was a perfect game. And just let me say now though, I think Stalker 2 will be something truly special in the coming months, especially if GSC keep up with the updates and listen to feedback from the community. But here's to Stalker 2, a fantastic foundation for the future of the game. Just right now, might be worth waiting until some of the bigger issues are fixed, then it will be a perfect experience. Thanks for watching, let me know how the Stalker 2 experience is going for you, and remember, try not to spoil anything in the comments, and if you really enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.